Welcome back to Crafting a Meaningful Life. I have something today that we're going to talk about, I think involves all of us. A couple things. One, we're going to talk about community. So many of us, we just yearn to have a community and to be connected. And people reach out to me on my social media like, Mary, you have such a great community. Well, how did that happen? And let's talk with our excellent guest about that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the gift of doing random acts. And it's a TV show that's produced locally here. And there's so much goodness in this particular podcast that I hope that you stay tuned for all of it. And so let's start by introducing our guest today. Our guest is Emilie Starr. Welcome, Emilie.
Hi, Mary. Thanks for having me.
My gosh, you are just such a delight. I wish I'm not live with her right now, but we've met a couple times now, and we are soul to soul, and I love that.
Love that too. It's so hard to find friends after you're out of elementary school. Like,
Right?
I watch my kid on the playground and she'll just walk up to someone and be like, "You're my best friend." And then they are. And it's so much harder outside of school that when you
Yeah.
do find someone that you see eye to eye and heart to heart with, that you just want to glom on and hold on to them for dear life. So that's how I feel about you.
Think that day that we first met, we were up at the Deer Valley Utah Symphony concert, and we were seeing Lindsey Sterling was performing with the symphony, and I didn't know anything about her. You knew about her, but I just fell in love with her. I mean, she comes on the stage playing this violin in every sort of contortion that I could not even do without playing a violin, alone while I'm
Yeah.
playing a violin.
And she's not just like sustaining notes while she's doing a backbend.
She's
She's doing runs.
yeah,
And it's crazy.
it
And our
is.
friend Whitney Bland introduced us because she thought that
Yeah,
we would love each other. And she was correct. Thank you,
yeah.
Whitney.
And it was just that moment of community. We were there. We knew some of the people in the group, but no one knew everyone. And when we met, I stepped in, and I think that's one of the keys to community. I stepped in to connecting with you.
Yeah.
And
You definitely
immediately
took that
I
first step.
looked right in the eye, and I just said, "Oh, I think I would like to know you."
You, rem- you did. You like held my hand and kept my gaze, which I love. Like
Yeah.
lingering eye contact is my love language. So,
Uh, oh, then we
so
are totally connected. Yeah.
yeah. And you took that first step, which is always that scary step, because you don't know that lingering eye contact is my love language until
Yeah.
I just told you. So I could have been like, "Oh, no, thank you, weirdo," and gone the other direction. But we found each other and
Yeah.
we have common goals, common interests, and that's what connects us.
And I think that we can, first of all, people ask me, well, how do you know if someone is like same with you? Well, you, I have fine tuned that piece of me
Hmm.
so that I can pretty much sense that when I step into someone's energy field. And I really, if I feel peaceful or do I feel anxious? It's one of the two. I'm either a little bit anxious or I'm totally at peace with this person.
And being able to find and connect is the difference between someone who's a member of the community and a community builder. And I really do think that you are a community builder, Mary. It reminds me of this book. We talked about it a little bit when we interacted in Deer Valley. It's called Bowling Alone by Robert
Yes.
Putnam.
It's
And
on
there's
my wish list on my Audible. Yes.
And if you don't want to read through it all, you can. There's a Netflix series called Join or Die right now about the book. And the whole book is all about how community, being part of a group, is what is
Ah,
saving America. And this rapid decline of people being part of any kind of group, whether it's a church group or a social club or a Rotary club, something that
bowling league.
a bowling league, that the decline of those interactions is leading to depression, is leading to anxiety. Depression is the new epidemic. It's killing people early, and and the prescription for it is human interaction.
Bingo. It's not gun control. It's not, I mean, do I think people should be able to buy automatic weapons? No. However, that's not all of gun control. But when something happens, it all relates back, Emily, to community. You know, you and I both know that recently we had this shooting in Minnesota where this was a person who lacked community. No one saw him. No one included him. Now, not to put everything off of him, he didn't see people as approachable. He
It's
didn't know
one.
how to connect and create a community for himself. It's a skill set we've got. If we want to stop school shootings, we need to learn this particular skill set.
I think that, and making them very readily available and free, so people can join any club that whether it's an after school program or, I mean, a huge part of um, being a part of school or church or anything, finding those people who are having a hard time and matching them to a program with human interaction that will help them build their own internal community, I think will save so many lives. It's like you were saying before before we started recording, you told me about a glitch that could happen in the system before it ever happened. This is solving the problem before it ever happens, because you are including someone
Yes.
and you are stopping them from falling into those deep, dark depression stages by giving them something to look forward to every month. Bowling, anything. And as they start building those skills of building their own communities, that's when will start finding their Marys and being able to recognize, oh, this is a person that I want to spend time with. They are
Yeah.
now part of my internal community.
And then we did spend time. We even went to breakfast a couple of weeks
Yeah.
ago and just had this most wonderful time. In fact, we looked at the watch and like, I'm sorry, it's been 2.5 hours. Did you know that? We thought it
It
had
was
been like 30 minutes.
so
Yeah.
true. But that's what happens when you find your people.
All right. So I'm going to take this a little bit further because I do believe this is such a critical piece for our entire culture right now. All right. So if community is a huge piece of the answer, and you know that you want people to step into a community, what about the person who is too frightened to step in?
Mm,
So then you said, we have to look for them. We get to include them. We get to reach out to them. All true so far. But the people, including me sometimes, are not secure enough to reach out to the loner.
yeah. So
Because
that's
I love to show up at a party and like, oh, Mary's here. Yeah, I'm part of the community. I can talk to everyone because everyone's already included me.
mhm.
And then it's easier for me to see someone and to reach my arm around them. But if I were to walk into that room and already be in the position of, is everybody else dressed like me? I don't, I'm scanning the room desperately trying to see if there's anybody here I know already. It's much harder in that position to
Mhm.
see someone who's also in that position.
Yeah. And so we have to train ourselves by, like, for example,
Yes.
I'm an extrovert, always have
Really?
been, very proud.
Huh, go
What?
figure.
But I married an extreme introvert. Like, just loves, like, will always be the person closest to the door because he doesn't like to be in crowds. And I will go social butterfly and then find him wherever there's a door. And I've now trained myself that when I go to a situation where I'm not comfortable, first I will find someone, hopefully, that is a social butterfly like me, because then we can feed off of each other's energy. Now we're in a good space, a good headspace, right? Then I can start looking for the edges, for the people who are on the edges who are not comfortable being inside the crowd and reaching out to them. Because you're right, when you are in a new situation with people that maybe you don't know, you do not want to take a step in. You need someone from inside to reach their hand out and hold your hand and walk you through
Yeah.
until you do meet those people. We need we need to be holding their hands and saying, "Oh, so and so, have you met so and so? Your common interests are." That's what Whitney Bland did for us.
Yep. Absolutely.
She was the person, because we both walked into that situation not knowing a few people, but I didn't know anybody there. And
Right.
Whitney introduced me to every single person there. She
Yes.
was my hand holder. And we have to do
Thank
that
you,
for
Whitney Blair.
she is like a glorious human and a godsend. And I thank everything every day that we got to meet, because
Yeah.
she's a natural hand holder.
She is a natural hand holder. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm not quite sure when in my life that happened.
Hmm.
I'm a little bit unaware of the exact. It wasn't like any big one of it, like all of a sudden, oh, I feel safe in a group,
Mm-hmm.
because I do remember very clearly when I didn't feel safe. And now I'm very much aware that I do feel safe. And sometimes you can put it on a particular incident and say, "Oh, that was the day I turned the corner, the key made sense, I stepped in." It was a gradual thing.
Yeah. And one's not better than the other by any means, like feeling comfortable in a group or not feeling comfortable in a group. They're not, one isn't better than the other. They're just different. And then we
Yeah,
need to find that communication gap or that hand holder who's willing to reach across. And you don't, like, I wouldn't go to my husband in a big group and reach my hand and pull him into the group. He will never be comfortable with that. But I will go around and talk to all of the people that I want to talk to, and then come back to where he is and talk to him about what I talked about. And that's his gap.
his win.
That's his bridge. So, and it's also about meeting people where they are. Maybe somebody who needs community doesn't want to be part of a bowling league. Maybe they want to be part of a gamer league. And you've got to find the community that fits the person.
The commonality.
Yeah.
I love that. I think you talked about this dissolution of community just briefly when we were chatting before we started. And that now that we've identified what that is, what does it mean to dissolve community? Now we simply need to learn and be aware of what it takes to build community. So
Mm-hmm.
in looking at our youth, what was that? I can't remember where it was. It was on the news this morning that someplace had just banned. I can't remember. Anyway,
I
that
always
no
get
one
so tired when I hear
they
the word.
weren't on social media. They could not be on social media. Oh, I remember. It was a report on that parents were now setting up a reward system uh, if their children did not get on social media until XYZ time. Most of them had chosen till after high school. And
Wow.
I'm thinking about my grandchildren. That would be like asking them, I'm going to give you a big reward if I can cut off your right hand today.
Yeah. I'm gonna develop your
You know what I
community.
mean? They would just look at me like, what? I
Yeah.
can't go without social media. You really would be cutting off my right hand. And I understand that you're telling me that you're going to pay for my college in 4 years if I cut off my hand today. But
You're
I
asking
just,
them to give up their community that they have also built.
yeah,
That it takes time and it has significant value. And this idea that just completely ignoring social media until they're of a certain age and then
yeah,
they'll be able to handle it is really flawed, because instead of teaching them from the get-go, this is social media, it has ups and downs, this is how you navigate it safely. Social media is not going to go away. It's just going to
right.
keep developing. And if you stop them from being on it all the time, you're just putting them behind the rest of the world, instead of teaching them, oh, this is how you do it safely. And then they can learn within the system what works best for them and build a community. Because honestly, so much of our community right now is
Social
online.
media.
And hopefully, like I'm, I existed before social media.
Obviously,
And
I existed a long time before social media.
yeah. And I use social media as a way to meet up with someone in person. That's my end
Yes,
goal. And
yes.
cool for social media, but that's not for every generation. Their community could solely be online, and it's still connection. Doesn't have to be. Like I understand that I'm now kind of contradicting what I was saying earlier, but that's because I'm speaking from my generation. I need physical touch and I need long, lingering eye contact. Not everybody needs it.
Yeah. In fact, it's very interesting because that's a huge thing for me, you know, looking someone right in the eye. And I always choose the left eye. So I'm not just kind of looking back and forth like this, kind of like, I mean, I look deeply and I hold the gaze in the left eye while I'm holding their hand. And it is crazy the number of people that are so uncomfortable with that. They're just like, okay. And they're looking everywhere but at me.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes I will soften this by looking away briefly and looking down. Maybe I'll lighten the way I'm holding their hand. Maybe I'll just even a few centimeters to just kind of pull back a little bit. So I'm just not right in their face. But also I don't want to change me.
Yeah.
So it's
And you
being
shouldn't.
aware of someone else and then staying where I feel comfortable as well.
Yeah.
And I love when someone finally, the best thing that ever happens to me is when I have someone who's just like pulling back, looking everywhere, like ready, are we going to ready to let go of hands? You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden I feel them step
Relax.
in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we just stand there together. That's the best. That's the best reward ever.
I agree.
What are your suggestions then to parents who are out there who have junior high, teenagers, high school with building community?
Mm.
And yet how do we teach this or how do we set the example? I think maybe might be the better key. What are your thoughts on all that?
I mean, as a person who doesn't have a teenager yet, but has a future teenager,
Yes.
I would say start with listening, because ask them what their interests are, because their interests will lead to a community of interest. So if they're interested in video games, start looking into groups that they can be a part of that involve video games. So when I think about these communities that sometimes you don't realize you could become a part of, like a 4-H club or something else, this magical thing happens that it almost naturally happens when you become part of an organized group. At one point or another in the year, your group gives back to the greater community. And then you get to be a part of giving back and making your community as a whole better. And it's what I like to think is the common purpose of a group is the group makes us better. So we want to make the group better, and then the group makes the community better. And it's this big love glowing bubble that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, and that's kind of what the Random Acts community is. And it's a group solely based on giving back.
So let's tell our listeners, what is Random Acts?
Awesome. So
and it's why I use the singular pronoun, because it sounds like it should be what are Random Acts, but it's what is Random Acts, because Random Acts is a singular thing that you do.
Yes. So I host a TV show called Random Acts with BYUtv. And it's a TV show that originally started as a community-based nomination show where the community would come to a platform and they would nominate either people who were incredible human beings in their community or someone who needed a leg up. And we would curate giant acts of service with and for these people. And then we'd film it and make an episode out of it. And it ran for 9 seasons.
Wow, that's
and
awesome.
And now it's just the best. Like, I can't truly describe how truly blessed I am to have been a part of it. And now it's transitioning into we're transitioning into social media. So Random Acts TV is our social media platform where you can watch all of the new content. And we're going from 30-minute-ish episodes to these smaller social media videos of just really ideas of things that anyone could do. Acts of kindness.
I love this.
Paying for someone's groceries or tipping big or just randomly giving someone flowers because you don't know what that person's going through, and flowers can brighten up their day. Or just handing someone a note of encouragement. And so it's kind of expanding us from a Utah audience and a United States audience because it has been, Random Acts, the TV show, has been viewed throughout the entire United States. It's kind of crazy when we go to other states, the people will recognize us.
Love that.
It's the best. Random Acts fans are the best fans on the planet because they know that if they see us, there could be a surprise happening.
A hidden camera.
Yeah. So most of the time they will like whisper to me when they see me. They'll be like, "Are you?" And if I'm doing if we're doing a surprise, I'll be like, "Yes, we're doing a surprise. I'll hug you in just a minute." Or if we're not, like, we hug and they talk about their favorite episodes and what they've done in their community. Like, they'll take some of the ideas that we do and do in their community. So in itself, it's creating this Random Acts group. And so now we're solely on social media and working towards building that platform of kindness because so many people get their content now solely through social media.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, that's Random Acts.
And that's the hashtag. Instagram, Facebook. What do you? Please don't tell me it's TikTok because I don't TikTok.
We are on TikTok, but it is still Random Acts TV.
Okay.
So that's the handle.
Let's just see here. I want to make sure I get that in my phone right now. Random Acts. See just how easy this is because I think you're right. First of all, I want to follow it because of you. And then
I love you.
And I also want to follow it because I want to be inspired. Look at that. Random Acts TV. Bring it up.
And it's a little green symbol and it almost looks like a recycling symbol.
What the heck, girl? You have 73.7, what's that, million? Followers? Well, I'm just going to be one of the many. But just
I mean, people love kindness. That's what it is. Like, kindness inspires, kindness builds, and kindness builds community.
And as I'm scrolling through this, just even to scroll through the feed brings a sense of peace because you have people who are looking so surprised. Oh, thanks. And then you have people who are in tears. You have people who are hugging each other. You have people who just like, seriously can't believe that. What now? What are you doing? And you have a lot of photos that look like this.
Yeah. And honestly, it really has taught me after a decade. I've been doing this for a decade. I've been a professional hugger for a decade. I can't believe that that sentence is real and it pertains to my life. And it has truly shown me that more often than not, people are good and people will do the kind thing and people are grateful when they're seen. It's just, and especially with this new social media world that we are really experimenting in. It's not a new social media world, but we're new-ish to it. And we get to really see people. And when you give somebody just a simple act, it's amazing the stories that come out of them that they gift to me. Like we did a day of giving groceries away, and we were, kind of bringing in some new people to maybe give the groceries away, like to step in and pay for groceries. And this is a two-part story. The first grocery give of the day was wonderful because this woman, I just stepped in and I tapped my card before she did, and she went, "Did you just pay for my mom's groceries?" And I went, "Yeah. Oh, yeah." And then she met me outside just in tears, and she was like, "I take care of my 90-year-old parents."
Wow.
And I was buying a month's worth of food for them. And me and my sister split the cost because it's expensive. You just paid for a month of we had no idea. We just randomly pick people, and they gifted me with that knowledge that what I did is going on to help someone deeper than what I had.
It's the ripple effect.
It is the ripple effect. And I would say maybe 50% of the time when we give somebody something, they pay it forward almost immediately. They pay for the person behind them.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. And it's not only a ripple effect, but we experience this full circle effect too. I had, during one of these shoots, this lovely young man. Oh, I wish I remembered his name. But he was one of our new, we were testing out to see how he would do, like paying for people's groceries. And the first thing he did was he came out to me and he went, "You don't know who I am, but I am a huge fan of Random Acts, and I've watched it since I was a kid. And it's inspired me to do good in my life. And you came to my school one year and did an assembly about Random Acts." And it was literally like this tiny moment in my life where I did like 6 assemblies. And he was in one of those assemblies. And now
he
he's on
changed
the
his
show.
life. And now he's changing.
And he's doing so well. Like he doesn't need to be on the show as a job. He's like, I think he was studying to be a lawyer, and he's spending his time going around and doing these kind things. So it's just this really cool full circle moment. This Random Acts community gets bigger and bigger and bigger every time I walk out my front door.
And I think that saying where it says there's no such thing as a small act of kindness. We simply do not know the effect that a small act has on someone. I see that even now when a comment will come across on a message from social media or something, and it'll just be like, "Do you remember when you la 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 la? Well, I was the la 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 la, and I've never forgotten, and this is la la la." And I'm like, you have no idea of what a random act of kindness will do for someone.
Yeah. It's incredible, and I mean, I can't believe that I'm lucky enough to just get to be the face and get to be the person to hug the person, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. That's kind of
I
how
was
I felt
lucky to
about catering. I got to serve people every day at their most joyous moments and make it happen, and then I got paid for it. What kind of a job is that? That's like the
I
best.
can't
I mean, because
I
catering
can't
is
believe it.
can be the worst job. It's stress, perishable products, staff, bridezillas. I mean, so catering can be the worst job, but being there at those moments when, whether it's the young entrepreneur who's launching his new company or the bride who says, "You made all of my greatest dreams come true today." I mean, it didn't matter what the occasion was. Or the mom who just clutched me and said, "I never could have done a birthday party this, and now I'm the hero." I mean, it's just small things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about your
Yeah.
greatest memory from Random Acts.
Oh my gosh, that's like choosing a child.
I'm sorry. Because
Uh,
I couldn't do that either, so I'm gonna go.
yeah.
What's the
You
first one
know,
that came to your mind?
Mo, that our first season, and it really was like this simple random acts. It was the season finale of our first season, so it was a huge experiment season. We didn't know if we were gonna have a season 2, and the last episode was about this gentleman named Mo. He before he had an aneurysm and was wheelchair bound. Um, and before that, he was this big, amazing person in his community. Like, he was the person who you would call when you needed your refrigerator moved, and he
Right.
would come to your your house and do it in his cul-de-sac. And his wife nominated him because since he had his accident, uh, they used to go on these boating trips. They used to have a boat, and they would go on boating trips, and he hadn't been able to go on a boat since because they couldn't physically move him onto the boat
Mm,
because his wife is the one who she picks him up out of the chair and puts him in their van,
yep.
and
Yep.
every day back and forth, and she couldn't do it. So we came in, and it was all from their community. Like, their neighbor who had a boat offered. He's like, we used his boat. Um, and the only thing that we did was we rented a wheelchair van that could get him to and from places. But we ended up, and we almost canceled the day of because his wife called us and she was like, he's not having a good day. I don't think that it will be a good surprise for him today. And then at the last minute, she was like, you know what? Let's just try it. If he doesn't want to go on the boat, it's okay. We won't go on the boat. And they wheeled him into a store, and we pulled the boat out in front of the store, and then we turned him around. And the change in his face when he
Yeah.
saw the boat and he knew that he was going to go on it was unreal. And it changed his whole day. And And we went on this great boat ride. And while we were out there, his whole cul-de-sac came together and put together this huge party. So they had a cul-de-sac party when they came back. And we were, going back and forth on whether or not what our last surprise was going to be. And we wanted to buy the wheelchair van that that they were using.
Right.
And it was a lot of back and forth, and it didn't go through. And then the day of, we found out that somebody had already bought it. Like, it was someone from their I still don't know. And so we were able to hand them the keys to this van that will improve not only his life, but his wife's life. And it was the first time that I really, I'm so sorry that I keep, I've got the cry voice going on, but it was my first
It's the real
experience.
voice going on.
Yeah. It was my first experience with community stepping up to make someone's life better. And we just were the catalyst. Like, that's all we are. We're just, these communities want to improve the lives of the people in their community, and we're just the excuse that they can do it.
Love that.
And we fill in the holes and we fill in the blanks. And yes, it was absolutely the amount of, you were mentioning that, catering can be the hardest job ever. This coordinating a huge surprise, the amount of coordination that the producers on the show do is unreal. And that was the first season. So they were still trying to figure it out. So yeah, I think that one might be
right up there,
because it was my first real experience with it.
Yeah.
It's season 1.
And you're still you're carrying it with you. Still,
Yeah.
I love that. I think that is part of the power of a random act, is that first there's the joy and the initial on your side, and then on their side, learning to receive. And there's that piece.
Mm-hmm.
But many times with these random acts, the piece that we don't see is the ongoing effect, the ripple effect. We don't see then what he's been able to do, and that he's been able to help someone else who maybe needed a ride. We'll come pick you up, that kind of a thing. And then the person who gave the van changed for life, no doubt. His children perhaps saw him give this van, and it instilled in them a sense of community, and that we are our brother's keeper, and that we are one. And is that my business? Yes, it is. And his children are different. And then, just think of all the people that have been affected by this.
Yeah.
As we close today, I'd like you to speak for just a moment. And I know what you know is my vision for this life and for how we achieve this. And the vision that I have and the dream of humankind, without a doubt, I know to be oneness. It is the dream. I dream about it almost every day. And what does it look like? And what's my piece in it? How do I step into it? From your perspective, in random acts and in creating community, what's your perspective? How do we step into one?
I would say that the key is kindness. Because we've talked today about how you find your community. You find your community by having something in common. And the one thing that we can all, I think, without any doubt, say that we have in common is that we want to do good in this world. And we want to do kind acts. And we want to have that feeling of, I just did something good for someone else. And I'm not going to receive anything of any value other than this amazing feeling. And if we can all continually do that, those kind acts will come back to us in one way or another. And that's what will keep us connected together, is doing acts of service, doing kind things, always being on the lookout for how can I be of service to someone else, whether you know them or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the key to oneness is kindness.
I love that. And no matter what the world or someone else or your neighbor or the guy driving next to you is dishing out to you, if the response is kindness, sometimes people say to me, I can't always respond that way, Mary, because they're like taking advantage of me. Oh, that's a one-way thing. They cannot take from you what you're willing to give. And if you're willing to return kindness, they didn't steal it from you. It was yours to give. It was your gift. Yeah, I love that. I'm going to hold that very close. That the key to oneness is kindness. And you're at the heart of it.
I'm just lucky to be here.
Yeah.
I think I'm so lucky.
We all are so blessed to be in this position and to get to know you. I'm fortunate to do this podcast and that I have a platform to talk about things that I feel matter. And it's part of my gift of healing myself and others and our world. So to my listeners today, what I ask of you is that you ponder this podcast and the beautiful gift of Emilie. Follow Random Acts TV, absolutely, and have your response. And if you do it long enough and think about it, I can tell you this, I can guarantee this is a promise to you, that your automatic response will become kindness. You may have to think about it now. You may put Post-it notes up around. You may have say to your spouse, "Will you remind me every day to do a random act of kindness?" And you need those things to begin with, but eventually it becomes who you are. It becomes who your life resonates around. The gift of kindness. Emilie, you
It's
have
true.
been a gift to be here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's so nice to get to talk to you again.
It is nice. And to all of you, this is your week to do a random act of kindness and follow Random Acts TV. Namaste.
Crafting a meaningful life.